Chat says 153 songs. Thank you, chat.
That's a lot.
So. Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, yes, we are going to get truly outrageous with two amazing guests who collectively gave life to an icon of 80s animation. So without further ado, let's go on down to Starlight Studios and see who we find. Today, our first guest is a singer-songwriter and actress who joins us as the speaking voice of Jerrica Benton, aka Jem. Please welcome Samantha Newark.
Hi, folks. Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Oh, they are well. They're going crazy in the chat room right now, I assure you. And how are you doing? It's been a couple of years since I've seen you.
I know you had to refresh my memory because I was traveling, so just it became this gigantic, wonderful, truly outrageous blur. But I'm doing really well. Actually, it's been kind of amidst all the crazy. It's been kind of nice to be a little more still, and so I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
That is so wonderful to hear. So glad that the holidays and the new year and the detritus of last year have been brushed away for you. And yes, absolutely looking forward to see you live and in person.
Yes, me too.
Yes. Along with our second guest, she is a singer-songwriter and actress who joins us as the singing voice of Jerrica Benton, aka Jem. Please welcome Britta Phillips.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
Everybody. I'm great. Glad to be here.
Oh, so glad to have you. So glad to finally meet you. Like I said, I had the pleasure of Samantha. Now my Jem is united in my mind as well as my heart, and finally on my resume. Woohoo! So,
Awesome.
So indeed.
Awesome.
And ladies, thank you for joining us here today. And as always, yes, we here at GalaxyCon are looking forward to the day when the world, I guess, a little bit back to normal. And we certainly look forward to the time when we can host you on our stages and get you back in front of your fans. In the meantime, we have the GalaxyCon virtual stage, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you both here today.
Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Hi, Britta.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi, you too.
So the team right now is going through the chat room and pulling out the questions for us. In the meantime, I'd just like to start off with, how did Jem begin for each of you? And Samantha, let's start with you.
Sure. So Jem was just this magical thing that I just wandered into after being in the show business kid since I was a little kid, and auditioned for the role. And actually, it was really strange. I didn't think I did a good audition. In fact, I couldn't get the sense of it, and I left feeling like, I don't know. And most of the time, you don't hear anything. And so I just kind of wandered off onto the next adventure, and then found out I got the roles. So it's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did they give you any sort of information going into it? Okay, it's a cartoon. It's going to be a toy line. Did they,
Yes, and so the distinction between Britta doing the singing voice of Jem and then them hiring voice actors, because initially we weren't, I don't know about you, Britta, but I wasn't told any of that. So she was like, she's a rock star, but she has an alter ego. And when I walked into audition for the voiceover stuff, they had like little Xerox copies of the characters. And I think I read for a bunch of them. They had the Misfits and all the different ones, and they were glamorous and 80s hair, and and I just went into this booth, and I think I read for Wally Burr, the director, and read for a bunch of the roles, and then went on my way. And I remember I have my original audition notes that say, must find out about the singing voice of Jem, because I had no idea at the time that they were matching our speaking voices to the singing counterparts that Britta had already been cast as the singing voice of Jem.
Oh, okay.
So all the music was like this huge machine that was happening in New York at the time. And then they were auditioning the voice actors to match us to the singing counterparts, but they didn't tell us that at the time. So we were all of us were kind of in the dark. And Britta and I never even met until 2010.
Like, oh my goodness, that long. Wow.
Yeah, we were like two separate holograms on each coast.
Wow, gracious. So Britta, then, so you actually came in first. So how did this evolve for you?
Well, I was living in New York. I'd just been there for about a year, and I'd made a demo tape with my dad, who's a musician, and he played it for Ann Bryant, who he was working with, doing a lot of commercial jingles and stuff.
Sure.
So, and she put it away for a while, didn't listen to it right away until this project came up, which was originally M, not Jem, M. And I auditioned. She finally listened to my tape and played it for, I guess, Joe Bacall, or I can't remember all the bigwigs' names. So they brought me into audition, and my dad came with me, held my hand, and my audition was the theme song. Yeah, but then I had to re-record it because they had to change it to Jem.
Wow. So just M, letter M.
Yes.
Possibly inspired by another pop music icon at the time.
Possibly. Who said nah.
So there's a theme song in the vaults of you singing M is true.
Somewhere.
That's so crazy. Wow.
That's a holy grail. Somebody's gotta dig that up.
I know. Somebody's gotta dig it up.
Or maybe you could cut a version of that sometime.
Yeah, I'll just fly it in there.
So you both did the case going. The Jem has always been interesting because for everybody from the outside, and believe it or not, yes, I did watch some episodes of it in the day because it was just that block. And yes, I was a guy, Transformers and G.I. Joe, who were your Hasbro cousins. But one thing that always was taken by me, and again, people from the outside of it, they tend to dismiss the show as being like a Care Bears, Smurfs, everything gets along nice and friendly. And no, this show had an incredible amount of teeth for its time.
Yeah.
And bombs.
Yeah.
And mischief and mayhem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There was a lot of fun to be had. There was a lot of emotion, far more emotion than again your boyish cousins G.I. Joe and Transformers. I still maintain the scene where the flashback to Jem's mother passing away is still incredibly powerful. And again, for that time, in that time slot of after school in the 80s, that it moved the needle.
Yeah. That's often what I hear is people, that's their favorite. That they're like, I cry every time I watch that, and they weren't afraid to go there, which was, for a Saturday morning cartoon, they had a lot of depth, and I think that's what really hooked people. It's like they became so emotionally invested in our characters.
Very
and
much
here
so.
we are today.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the great Christy Marks, who has written some amazing comic books, including Sisterhood of Steel, one of my all-time favorites from the 80s and stuff. She was a sort of a co-showrunner on the series, and definitely her influence. And a lot of other comic writers of the time kind of broke into animation through your show. And that's another reason too that's it's finally looked on and remembered as, again, business wise, when you look at it, talk about fans, Roger Stuff wrote some gems, really? And that I've actually gotten some guys interested in comic book history to jump on it. It's like, the show is not what I expected. It's like, yeah, it kind of really isn't. So what's been your favorite takeaway from all this after all the years? What's become your favorite Jem related memory?
Oh boy.
I know, right? So many.
I know.
You first, Britta.
I mean, my best memories from back in the day is just, I'd moved to New York to be a musician. So it was kind of my dream job, just being in the studio with Ann and Ford and recording these songs. I mean, it was just, I didn't really hang out with the other singers. They would come in as I was going out. It was just really exciting. It was really exciting. And, I watched the first season, but I was like 21. So I was partying after that. And I've actually watched all of it since then, but not for a while. I just, I love the way it combines this serious action and serious attitude with the really subtle and big emotions and really small, like everyday things, you know, like insecurity and like I was, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to answer that question.
Yeah.
Oh, fair. No, there's certainly a lot going on.
I think hitting the high notes that was a highlight for me, is discovering that I could sing those crazy high notes, which I probably can't do anymore.
You can. I've heard you.
Maybe not the really, really high ones.
Absolutely. What were your sessions like for you to come on in? How long was the recording of a standard song?
Oh, it's pretty quick. We'd get it. It's maybe the session was like an hour and I did 2 songs or something. Or maybe it was, it's hard to remember. It could have been a little longer. Could have been 2 for 2. It's usually, I think, 2 songs a session. And they would tell me, they would give me the story. They would give me all the emotions of what's going on. And, you know, they gave me the big arc and then the episodic arc of what was going on. And yeah, then it was just working on those high notes.
Yeah. And they certainly were. We've got a couple of videos. Y'all want to watch one and let's do a little commentary? Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask Mike, our producer, to roll one of the music videos he picks. So this will be, I gave him 4, so this will be kind of random even for me. So let's see what he plays out for us. And everybody in the chat room, go ahead and get yourselves ready. And has Mike got it? All right. While he's pulling that up, Samantha, let me ask you this much: what was your usual lead time in going in for an episode? Was it?
It was probably around 4 hours, 6 hours, something like that. It's hard to remember, but it was also, we recorded ensemble. Oh, here's the video.
Okay.
So, yeah, should I pick it up afterwards, or we'll just watch this first?
Let's see if we boots it up here.
Yeah.
I love the 80s dance.
Yeah, we were in such rebellion against disco that we collectively just yeah.
That's the episode where they go to Venice, right? Everybody goes to Venice, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, they do that scene so that the guy driving the gondola, like, oh, I'm sorry, I guess you are superstars. Go ahead and jump on in. So that was one of, and again, the art direction and the animation direction, I thought did a pretty good job again of capturing what MTV was putting out at that time. And I've always said that Jem is a really good pop culture time capsule of the 80s.
Absolutely.
And not in a bad way, not in a snarky, smarmy, look how silly it was. No, this is a legitimate. It gives you a vibe of everything that everybody was aspiring to be.
Exactly.
I've been enjoying. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just especially the drag queen culture. You had all these kids in the drag culture. Jem has been honored in the most magnificent ways, and they were kids when they were watching, and they were like, "I want to be like that."
Oh,
really inspired a whole generation.
I'm friends with several of those guys, and yes, it was absolutely, what Star Wars did to me, Jem pretty much did for them. It unlocked like I don't quite know what this is, but I want more. I want to be a part of it. Yeah,
exactly. It's so awesome.
Very, very much so. So Samantha, what was a typical day of a typical episode recording for you?
So we would usually record once a week. Sometimes I would have to record twice a week because I have to go in and do some sort of pickup, which was, just shoot in and out, very easy. But we recorded ensemble. So the whole cast as many of us could be in the room of this tiny studio. We all doubled up on mics, depending on, they figure out who had the most dialogue, and we'd get out. Sometimes Patricia and I, because we were in there so much, it's so much dialogue, she would literally be like right there screaming out with me with her hands going. And yeah. And and when we weren't,
fantastic that you got to do it all together.
It was my first animation job, and they don't do that much anymore. The ensemble stuff. So I was just in heaven, and working with these amazing actors, it was in front of me.
And it was like I said, it was getting phased out at that point, and then Andrea Romano sort of brought it back for the WB stuff, that she wanted that troupe style. But what was the
magic happens? It really does. I mean, you have to bring it in voiceover anyway. Most of the time you're auditioning, you're just in a booth. There's either an engineer there, or maybe you have the producer or whatever, but you're often just reading lines, and you're not even getting you're not even a dialogue with somebody. You're having to like pause, and so you don't get a lot. And I just walked into this world of like Charlie Adler screaming at me, and like everybody just playing off of each other. It was just magic. It was really, really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, we mentioned the scene with Jem's mom. You mentioned how it brought everybody to tears. You want to revisit that? I'd love to hear I'd love to hear your reactions to this.
I just thought it was so beautiful to delve into the backstory, and they weren't afraid to go there. It's pretty deep and poignant, and I thought it was beautifully written. It was just a beautifully written episode.
Before me out of town again, and poor Jarek is having trouble adjusting to her mother's increasingly frequent absences from home.
What's wrong, sweetheart?
Why do you have to go away all the time?
Jerica, honey, this is my career. I won't be gone long, and you wouldn't want me to miss the concert, would you?
If you love me, you won't go.
I do love you, Jerica, believe me.
Your attention. Last call for flight 909.
Honey, I've got to go. Give me a hug and a kiss.
No.
We'll talk when I get back.
Goodbye, everyone.
Oof.
I'm sorry, Mr. Benton.
Jackie is dead, killed in a plane crash.
Mom.
Oh, Jerica.
How can I go on without her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some tough stuff. I mean, little kids at the time, Yeah, I can only imagine. Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, that's some heavy stuff.
Heavy, yeah.
And I guess this way too, but it lended just that again, that again, for a show that's again, I was from the outside accused of it's very sugary. It's like it's a little bit of salt in there that you'll find give it an overall palatability, which is far beyond everyone's expectations.
Yeah, it really had a lot of grit and a lot of depth, and then it had like the ridiculousness and the wackiness of a cartoon at the same time. So you were just like on this ride, and each episode was like the continuation of a story. And I remember Wally Bird, the director, he didn't want us to read cartoony. He was always like, I want these kids to look up to you like you're their older sister, So he wanted us to always sound very real, which I think really, really was very cool. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. The man was a legend. No question.
Yeah.
No question
he was
about
awesome.
That. Absolutely. I'll tell you, we're just about ready to go for audience questions, but I'll tell you what, since that was a little bit of diner, what do you say we do one more video, then we'll go to our audience questions. What do you say, ladies?
It's showtime.
Yes, indeed. Mike, go ahead and play one of our selections we've got there. And let's see what he brings up. Oh, this is a good one.
Why did I let Roxy get undoomed?
Lighten up.
Hey, you're not the one that's doomed. time, Shayna. We know you can do it. You don't understand. I'm just not prepared to be judged by famous designers, let alone compete with Bobby Stark.
Who is this tense and negative person who's pretending to be Shayna? Who are you?
I'm scared, that's who.
Oh, I like this.
I can be whoever I want to, anyone at all. I can strut when I want to strut, or hide behind a parasol. It all depends on the mood I'm wearing. It all depends on the mood I'm in. I can be beautiful or truly outrageous. It all depends on the mood I'm in. Mood I'm in. Mood I'm in. Off I go in search of adventure. Anytime I choose, I wear heels if that's how it feels, or else I wear my blue suede shoes. It all depends on the mood
MTV.
Indeed, and again, and a shout out to the
cool.
supporting cast of the show as well, the performers and the characters. Just they weren't just ciphers like, okay, here's this one and this is here. Every character in this show was in it beyond the surface level.
Yeah.
So and absolutely, and again, and you both worked with some they're great musicians in the studios doing the songs, or just great actors and actresses in there. We're still talking about it decades later. So
It's amazing.
indeed.
It's so fun.
So
I
let's
always
go
say
ahead.
to their friends, like they used to like eat cereal and watch Gem, and now it reads in a whole different way as a grown up. Like you can sit and have cocktails and watch Gem, and it's awesome.
I think you've given us a really fun thing to do at our physical shows.
I would hope so. Of all the lockdowns, you know.
We'll do a Gem drink and watch. How's that? All right, let's go ahead and roll some audience questions. And let's say our first one comes from Tabitha. And she wants to know, what was it like to bring the character of Jessica Jem to life? Which persona was your favorite? That is a good one.
So I guess because I'm Jerica, I would say, it was an amazing experience just being able, like I said, to be in the studio with these wonderful actors and an incredible director, and just being able to do what I love for a living at 18 years old. You know, it availed me my own apartment and like my whole entrance into being, independent. So it was such a huge, like Jem gifted me that. It was like incredible. So that was lovely. And also, I guess I've said this before, but I can't, because I'm a singer as well, and I relate to Jerica and being an indie artist, and she's like the one that's on the phone, and she's doing all of the chop wood carry water stuff, trying to organize everything and manage. And then there's Jem, who's the artist. You know, I know you relate to this, Britta. Like Jem gets to like step out on stage, and nobody knows the behind the scenes things. So I've always related very much to both the counterparts. And also
No, I mean, I was just did Jem, but I will say that I took it absolutely seriously in the studio. The character, I took it like, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is just some little cartoon song I'm doing. It's like, no, I was really excited to try to fulfill that character as a real emotions and a real person, and it was very exciting.
They were great pop songs, man. Like there's so many songs from the Jem soundtrack that I'm like, I love this song. They're really, really good.
Yes.
I wish there was a way that they would come out like re-released.
I hope someday.
I hope. I know the fans would go bananas.
What was that? What, an average of 2 videos per episode, and do the math. That's
right. A lot of songs, a lot of music.
Yeah, absolutely. Tabitha, thank you. Great question to start.
Thanks, Tabitha.
And what do we have next from Christy? What other fandoms would you like to see have a crossover with Jem?
Ooh. I've been a big fan of Scooby-Doo since because I lived in different continents when I was growing up, and suddenly it was like, oh, they have Scooby-Doo here. I love Scooby-Doo. I think some capers with Jem and the Scooby-Doo gang and the Misfits and haunted houses could be fun.
That actually does seem like the perfect crowd, just because of what every episode is like in Scooby, you know, similar.
Right. It's a caper.
Mad cat, yes.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah, that would be an expedient one. I do know Hasbro for a couple of years now has been trying to do a Hasbro verse with all their toy properties, and there have been little blips in the comics and stuff where in a Transformers comic they'll mention Jem.
Yes.
So then, yeah, they have. They're not quite sure how or what necessarily, but they think they do have. Chat says 153 songs. Thank you, chat.
That's a lot.
So and Hasbro's really been wanting to push this into like the full cinematic joined universe, and like everybody else has. So it's
right.
It's possible if there's another chance at bat for another reboot of Jem. Not like the other one. We'll leave it at that. Maybe have a more superheroic persona. So we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
But thank you. Great question. Well, next one, Jackson. Oh, what's your favorite 80s band?
Does it have to be a band?
No.
Well, I mean, I was a huge Madonna fan. Duh. But also Prince, Michael Jackson. Sorry. He cannot be denied musically. Yeah, that's good. Oh,
well, that's those three.
Yeah.
I want to leave you some, yeah.
So all those three, like I went to a Madonna concert when I was 15 with a bunch of my friends, and I had like the lace bow and the rubber brace, the whole thing. I mean, I was just like, who is this woman? She's phenomenal. But I have a 80s playlist on Spotify, like 250 songs. I really love the synth pop stuff. Like I was a big Thompson Twins fans. I loved oh my gosh, the Rhythmics and like the synth pop stuff, Kaja Gugu.
Yeah.
I loved that stuff. I mean, but I also really loved Aerosmith and you know, Journey and Foreigner and like all of it. I couldn't pick one. I literally couldn't pick one. Don't make me.
No. It's favorites. It's plural and everything.
Right.
You know, I was a metalhead, but I was also a secret Duran Duran fan. So
I love Duran Duran.
So
that was cool too.
I was actually a metal fan right before I moved to New York. So right in the early 80s, right before I did Jem, I was into this, you know, Scorpions and Judas Priest.
Oh,
right before Madonna.
Right.
And
turn me onto them.
And you raise an interesting point, though. It was like you weren't allowed to cross your musical fandoms. You had to identify, and you were locked into that. And I had a secret stash of secret albums, literally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a Scorpions poster, a Twist Sister, everything else on the walls, but I had Duran Duran, Rhythmics, and Thompson. Yeah, I had their albums hidden under the bed.
Oh, I also had to hide my love of disco in the late 70s, coming from, you know, rural Pennsylvania, where I was like, I would just listen in my car by myself.
Yes. Confession, I still listen in my car. Bee Gees, I love the Bee Gees.
Yes.
And,
oh my God.
The Sunshine Band and like Parliament. Oh my gosh. Disco. I needed disco.
Rules.
We should have a Jem disco party. With some 80s stuff too.
We're writing that down. All right. Ooh, I'd love to see some fan art of Jem reimagined as a 70s disco icon.
Yes.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
All right. Anybody in the chat room knows some artists or whatever, be sure to tag us in that on social media. And Jackson, thank you. Wonderful question.
Thanks, Jackson.
From Lily. What was it like being a part of Jem and the Holograms? Any funny stories to share? Maybe during some mishaps in the recording booth, or
the only thing I can think of is that when I had to hit a really high note, and I just think this is funny because it's kind of, I don't know if it's real or not, but Ford would have me just bend over so that all the blood would rush to my vocal cords. So if it was a high note I couldn't hit, it would just do that, and come up and it would work. I don't know if it was just a placebo, like a psychological thing, but maybe it is an actual physical. So if you need to hit a high note, try it.
Yes, it does work. Yeah. Instead of like reaching up for the note, you come down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more psychological. I don't know.
Hey, it worked. Whatever it takes to to get that recording,
Those were some high notes, girl.
Yeah.
Those were some high notes. They were beautiful.
How about you, Samantha? Any humorous anecdotes you could share with us?
Yeah, I remember one time, and I got validation from this, and I think it was Wally that validated it, because a lot of the cast members were like, "What? I don't remember that," but they gave us naked storyboards at a rehearsal. Yeah, we used to get storyboards, which showed. So you get your script, and then you have a storyboard, which is showing the action going along with what you're saying. So that if you're speaking to Rio, but you happen to be running up a hill, you need to know that because you're going to deliver the line differently. And I don't know if it was one page that was naked, but they were naked. I should have kept it. I wish that I kept it. I've kept a lot of things. Yeah. So that was pretty funny. It was a joke sent down to us, and maybe they confiscated them. I don't know. Maybe they thought they were going to get in trouble, but I remember that. And I remember Patricia, who played Pizzazz, and Charlie Adler, who played Eric Raymond, would, especially with Patricia, if she flubbed a line, she was known for her expletives. And I was pretty young and polite. I learned a lot in those sessions. I was like, wow, you could do that? It was great.
Yeah, there's sometimes every other voice actor we've always alluded to, there's a tape of me somewhere on a really bad day. I couldn't get the voice, and I am just like first and both of us.
And that's the best part. We would get in trouble for laughing, and then they have to wrangle us all because because you're in a room with these great people that are not behaving sometimes. Great.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Lily, thank you. Wonderful question. What do we have next? From Casey, how does it feel to have Jem be a role model for young women?
Wow. I mean, it's a gift. I mean, really, when I was doing this back, how many years now is it? I had no idea the effect it would have and the long-lasting effect, but I'm very humbled and proud to be a part of it. And that the roles were so fleshed out, all kinds of women too, not just one kind.
I love that. That's so true. It's like Christy Marks, her writing all the different archetypes, and especially Jem. Like, I kind of envied Patricia sometimes because of her bad girl role was so much fun, and she was so good at it. The bad girls were awesome, and I used to get made fun of in sessions. I mean, from a really sweet place, I'd be like, "Oh, it's little Miss Pink Hair," Miss Pollyanna. But I feel like the Pollyanna archetype is really powerful. It's transformative, and Jem sort of goes into chaos and somehow manages to like throw a benefit in the middle of it, and so at the end of it, everybody's happy. So yeah, she's a beautiful role model and beautifully written.
And they're complicated, like real people, a real girl, real whoever, boys, girls, all
with their vulnerabilities and making mistakes and
fallibilities.
Yeah, I like that.
She was a hero without being the ostentatiousness of being a superhero. She was just always a good person.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the definite. It wasn't like purported out there. It was just shown in her behavior. It wasn't like, oh wow, she's so good. She's no. She just, again, it was proven by her actions.
Yes, and she wouldn't put up with shenanigans. She had good boundaries, and I just love that they glorified in that time somebody who stood up for the right thing, because there's not so much of that now for kids, and they definitely were role models. And a lot of kids have said to me they had no guidance when they were growing up, and they had really difficult family lives, and they said it was the one thing that kept me out of prison. It was the one thing that taught me to be a good person, to tell the truth. And it's like, wow, Wow, didn't realize, like you said, Britta, like how would we have known? We had no idea the reach that was beaming out to millions of kids, and they were growing up and growing with us and learning things, learning life lessons. And it was to have Jem kind of be a custodian of that is really cool.
Yeah.
Did they sort of keep you all in the dark about Jem's popularity? I know, again, with your Hasbro cousins, the casts of G.I. Joe and Transformers, they were completely oblivious to how popular the show was. So I wasn't sure if you had any, other than seeing the toys and stuff out there, if you had any idea, just, oh, no, you're doing really well, if anybody ever actually told you that.
I just saw an article in the paper once, but then I didn't know. I thought, oh, okay, I think that was the beginning, or actually, I'm not really sure where it was, but I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I didn't really know, and especially after the show ended, because it really had to do with the packaging of the dolls. They wouldn't fit upright on the shelves in the store because they were so tall, so they had to like put them in there. I don't know. Problems with the dolls. Marketing the dolls, not problems with the dolls. Problems marketing the dolls is what hurt the show. But I learned later how successful the show actually was. Yeah, not at the time.
Yeah, like we didn't have social media back then, cell phones, anything. How did we live? But there was no way to really take the temperature of it. But I remember my dad was like, you should go buy yourself a doll. So we went to Toys R Us at the time, and I went with my mom, and we bought a glitter and gold doll, which I still have. And my mom was telling a mother there that was getting a doll for her child, she was like, this is Jem. And the mom was looking at her like, what? And yeah, it didn't go over very well, but yeah, my proud mom. But yeah, like I had no idea either. It was so strange. It wasn't until I think I reached out to you, Britta, in like 2003, and I'd been Googling Jem, and there were all these web rings and email lists and all of this wonderful homage to Jem.
Yeah.
And we're like, what is happening? And then I found your email. I'm like, I got to email Britta. Hi, I'm Jem too. Yeah.
It's still alive. Yes.
It is. What can you believe? Like, wow.
I mean, at the time I had a little brother who was 5, and every once in a while I would run into his friends and they would be excited, but I didn't know that they would grow up and remember and still care, which is
true.
So lovely.
Yeah, so again, like your Hasbro cousins on Joe and Transformers, they hid the fan mail from you.
Did you got fan mail sent to you through your agent or through the music? Did they get fan mail to you? Because you must have had fan mail. I know you must have had fan mail. They didn't.
No,
I would have thought, but
no,
I don't know. Maybe there's like a big stash of it somewhere. Somebody has. They didn't know where to get it because that's the old school way. But yeah, no social media is so weird.
Yeah, indeed.
It's all about that.
Casey, thank you. Wonderful question. What we have next from Leslie. What's your favorite song to perform or see performed?
I mean, Jem song.
I think in general. What's your favorite song to perform or to see performed? Wow.
That's a big question. That's basically like, what's your favorite? I'm terrible with favorites because I don't ever want to just pick
it's one of your favorites.
Okay.
One of your favorites, yeah.
Well, I like to perform I have a cover of the Cars song Drive, and I really like to perform that. That's one that I like to perform live. And then to see though, God, Iggy Pop singing The Passenger. I don't know.
Okay.
Because he's awesome.
I like that. And now I am extremely curious to see your rendition of that car song.
It's on Spotify.
It's on the record.
All right, Della, we'll go. Yeah, we'll go.
The video is so cool too. I love the video.
Ooh, what was it? How about you, Samantha? What's a song you never get tired of singing?
That is a good question. I feel like I've been doing so much stuff for Jem lately. I have 3 albums and I'm barely performing music off of them. But wow, I don't know. I really like at heart I love pop rock. Like I really am like I really have always been a belter. I love it. I like singing loud.
Yeah.
Kind of stems from my Annie days. I was never afraid to like sing loud. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I can't
That's
think of a
fine.
favorite one.
If
Yeah.
it pops in your head later on, let us know. And
Yeah.
Leslie, thank you. And I think we have time for one more. So let's see if we can get a really good one going on. And from Ben, what do you think Jem would be doing today, years later? So, so if Jem aged in real time like the rest of us, what should be doing now?
Putting out really good music on her label, signing good artists.
Love it.
Yeah.
Co-writing great songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and writing great songs and
she'd
still making records.
She'd probably be like mentoring young artists too. She'd probably, instead of Haven House, she'd like have a house for artists that were up and coming songwriters, and she'd be creating this lovely space for them to like grow their art and be nurtured. And I could see her doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see Jem very much still being Jem. For some reason, though, I could see Jerica considering a political career.
Ooh.
A lot of sharks out there.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
England sharks with the Misfits, so.
Oh, they buried the hatchet. They're buddies. I actually see them helping run the studios now in the good way. I could see them being mentors to young immersive talent.
They probably don't hang out, but they've got a mutual respect. Like, hey, okay.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah, MTV brings them together for those reunion specials and
right. And the guys would still be like, wait, how many songs is she doing? Wait, what? Is she going on first? Am I opening for her? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be the best.
GalaxyCon viewers, this has been my time with the voices of Jem, but it absolutely does not have to be yours. If you'd like to chat with our guests or purchase an autograph, please head over to GalaxyCon.com. And while you're there, please be sure to check out our schedule of upcoming events just like this one. Britta, Samantha, this has been absolutely wonderful. Any parting words for our audience before we go backstage?
Any what?
Any final words for our audience?
Hang in there, everybody. Hang in there is what I want to say. Hang in there. This has just been the most crazy. But you know what? When I think about it, it is all over the world right now. So in a way, we are all connected in a weird through all of this. We are all kind of in the same. We're in the same thing, and I don't know. I'm always the Pollyanna, and I know that we're going to get through this, and the world is going to be brighter because of it. And to just not give up. Hokey as that sounds, but keep the faith. And
I'm hoping some good comes of this too. I'm with you there, and just stay safe and sane.
Yes, stay safe and binge watch Jem episodes because it's fun and it'll make you feel better. I think it's on Tubi or something right now. So.
Something like that. Ladies, this has been my absolute pleasure to serve you both today. Thank you once again for joining us at the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us today, thank you for all your wonderful, great questions. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.